Welcome everybody. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamers, and this is a session 2. So we are discussing the latest news, fun stuff, and obviously dropping some knowledge. This is a safe space for all of us and you as well. So don't forget, let's not take this too seriously because it's a 4 a.m. conference discussion about gaming industry. Welcome. Let's dive in. Hey guys. Hey Felix. Hey Jakub.
Hello there.
How was your week?
Peachy.
Oh, really?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great week. Yeah.
I was having a nice stroll in Austrian mountains when suddenly my mobile exploded because of the biggest news of the year, which can be topped still.
What happened? You mean the biggest news, me going to the mountains?
Something like that. The acquisition, of course.
Oh, well, of course.
Well, of course, the news everyone's talking about. We thought we had the biggest news of the year already last week, but then already this week, which is 3 weeks into this year, Activision, Microsoft has announced that Microsoft will acquire Activision Blizzard for $95 per share in a all-cash transaction valued at $68.7 billion. And that's inclusive of Activision Blizzard's net cash. So when this transaction closes, Microsoft will be the third biggest gaming company by revenue, behind only Tencent and Sony. So in this transaction, franchises from Activision Blizzard, King, Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Candy Crush will all belong to Microsoft, which everyone knows about in our industry. But
look,
let's
so
discuss further.
I asked how was your week, and then he just jumps right into the news, into the biggest news ever.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I can see.
But this is my week. I opened the refrigerator and I see Activision Blizzard news.
But that's
guys, let's put this in perspective. If this transaction was the GDP of a country, is just as big as Bulgaria. Like it's massive.
What's amazing thing that we called it last week. Felix. So well, too bad I didn't buy any shares or any stock. Definitely should.
It's really interesting that it's an all cash deal. Like we had this saying in Slovakia that like before we lived in the age of cash, when like old people are blaming corruption and stuff, but like really all cash of nearly 70 billion.
One has a lot of money.
Yeah, just to frame that, the second biggest Activision, which was the biggest for 8 days, the Zynga one, I think it was like 40% stock of Take-Two or something in that vicinity, just to get the scale of this.
Well, I said the Zynga deal will be probably the biggest of the year. Well, fast forward 7 days, so not even 7 days, 4 days, and then bam. 68.7 billion. Okay.
Guys, do you think this forces like Amazon to buy like EA as a counter buy? Because like Amazon have made it clear that they want to get into gaming, but they don't really have a foothold at all. Do you think we'll see in the next 12 months something from Amazon buying one of these big ones to keep up? Maybe even Take-Two. Like, I don't know. Everyone's a target now.
Yeah, everybody's a target. Okay, well, Amazon buying Take-Two, that would be a really nice surprise. But I was thinking about it. Maybe, Amazon buys Epic, but probably would gain more from EA deal than buying Epic.
I think the biggest pressure is or let's say the ball is on Sony, because their shares went a pretty big dip there, in a way that they are pretty much threatened by this. I think even Xbox was mentioning something like they will keep Call of Duty on PlayStation and stuff like that.
The Sony CEO mentioned on the Twitter or somewhere, like, we are not working with Activision Blizzard anymore.
Yeah, but I'm talking more of a financial perspective here.
Okay.
Not relationship one. But yeah, definitely like this puts Microsoft into, I would say, like a really, really close to that metaverse thing that everybody is throwing around, because in my head, how I would imagine it, like just imagine stuff like Ready Player One or Snow Crash, but I mean the real one in the books, not the movie, where you pretty much have all the IPs under one blanket. So it's really easy to do that kind of stuff. And this kind of puts them really close to that matter because they have the whole PC infrastructure, they have the whole cloud infrastructure. Now they're like just rounding out IPs from left to right, and those are really big because Xbox was always behind PlayStation on the console space, and like PlayStation always overruled Xbox in the releases. Now I think next console cycle generation this can be the other way around.
But how is this closer to the metaverse? They still can't see it.
Because you have the access to all of these IPs, and you connect them into one umbrella. So it means that finally, one of those utopistic ideas that your item in one game can be transferred to the other game, or pretty much in the same ecosystem.
Mr. NFT skeptic.
Like just imagine that like same system pretty much works already in Battle.net, where you would have like cross promo stuff. So for instance, you would have pets in Diablo that are connected to World of Warcraft and stuff around that. And it's pretty easy to do because all those games are under one umbrella. So imagine you just increase this sheer amount of games that are pretty much in that one family. So it means that if, let's say, Microsoft buys everyone in the gaming space, then it's pretty easy. They are the metaverse, period.
Yeah, okay, but still, how can you use any Candy Crush items in Diablo or in World of Warcraft or whatever? I mean,
let's not get into detail yet.
There you go.
But think about it. If you actually know you can do that, you can actually start planning around it. Like everything is bought now in bits and bobs all over the place. But if you know that you're going to be selling it as a unified thing, and 10 years ahead, you can start planning for it.
Yeah. Like as I said, like the closest references would be either Ready Player One or Snow Crash, where you can see how those worlds, at least in the book, work. And I think it was pretty good already. It doesn't need to be, like, don't think about it in a way that, let's say, this sword from Diablo can be used in StarCraft. It doesn't need to be like that. It's more of a, I would say the other way around, that the sword from StarCraft, the sword from Diablo and the, I don't know, boogie from StarCraft can be used in a third world, or the one that's universal.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe. We'll see.
So
Still
also
pretty far in the future.
So also, like, on this topic, the benefits of starting off my career in finance is that I still have some friends in now, I guess, high places.
Nice.
So I actually spoke to one of my friends he works in an M&A department in a big London bank on the entertainment desk, which covers gaming.
Nice.
He wasn't directly involved with this deal, but he's read like all the fine print in the deal. And basically he said that the most interesting thing that they're discussing on his desk as a result of this is there's a $3 billion breakup fee that has to be paid by Activision if this deal falls through. So when you have deals like this, it's completely normal to have this breakup clause, but usually the person who's acquiring the company has to pay the fee. So 95% of cases, Activision shouldn't be paying $3 billion if they don't go through with this deal, which basically my friend says means that the balance of power during this negotiation was completely in Microsoft's hands, that they could extract this basically. So he said basically that this is Blizzard who wants to get sold. And game theory speaking, and what they're kind of discussing is the only two reasons they think why Blizzard wants to be sold now is that either A, they're expecting like a massive sexual harassment lawsuit to be like tied up and paid off, which he thinks is like the more likely thing, or because of an antitrust issue, which he thinks is less likely. So basically, what we talked about with Bunker Bobby and his merry band of of executives last week, I think this is 100% true, and even further. So basically, Bunker Bobby, our friend, his shares are worth $385 million, and his golden parachute had been decreased to $293 million, which
from the 300.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, this is a lot lower than usually you get from a deal like this. It's still a lot of money, but if you're transacting Bulgaria's GDP, that's not that high. So basically, what his theory is that basically Kotick is out when the transaction closes, and basically he'll take a windfall of $678 million, which is small for this size. Basically took a haircut because they think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be announced that basically Activision Blizzard is going to pay a big fat like lawsuit to tie up all the loose ends with all the sexual harassment. So that's what the
wasn't
bankers
this like
are saying.
the immediate thing, like how this thing went through in a way that Activision stock went down because of all the like recent things, and my prediction that they will be the loser of this year that it still can go through even though they were acquired.
Not sure, man.
Because that's what I heard, and I think it makes quite a bit of sense that the premium is like 45% or something like that. But if you put that into the context that their stock lost like half of their value in the last half a year, it's not that big of a premium. So it was pretty much an opening for anyone else to grab them.
Well, that's what we discussed. I mean, all the issues they had last year. This was like, let's grab them for not a small amount of money. Obviously, 68 billion is not small, but it could be more.
Like where do you think the negotiation actually started then? Like when the lawsuit started immediately after that?
I think basically these sexual harassment things have been bubbling. If you read about what
2018,
happened, but they've been piling on. They've been piling on, and I bet you like there's a big payout coming. And then when they realize that, that's when they're like, yeah, we should get sold. Because like say what you want about Bugger Bobby, but he's a good businessman. Like maybe not the best game maker, but he's a businessman. He's going to extract the most value out of a company because that's the kind of leader he is.
That's what businessmen do.
That's what businessmen do, of course. But it's still
it will be really interesting, like how overall, like let's not take into account the acquisition itself, but just the future of these franchises and the whole company, how it will move forward. Because I think there's also many challenges, even though we just let's presume that all of the harassment scandals and everything, the transitions go smoothly. What do they do in their portfolio, their roadmap, and like the current changing environment of mobile games or like the game market itself, that they pretty much don't have an answer currently to the current setup. Like I don't see those games making, like Blizzard only I'm talking, of course, not Activision, not King. I think those companies are in much more solid state than Blizzard currently is after all the brain drain.
Yeah, well, Diablo 4 is going to be released by like 2040.
Yeah,
most
by the
probably.
time where Path of Exile 2 already has a foothold in the action RPG genre.
Oh, well, you are the Path of Exile fan, so, obviously you say that.
What do we think? Like, the only thing that stands in the way of this deal, I guess, is antitrust. Like,
I read some article that they're actually changing the antitrust rules, like now. So maybe this can still, like, end up there.
Let's see, right? But if you look at the number 1 and number 2, Sony and then Tencent, like American antitrust regulators, they protect Americans. But wouldn't they have an interest to have the third biggest gaming company in the world be American?
We'll see. Like currently, had to say like this is out of my knowledge league completely.
Oh, no way, Mister, I know everything. Hey,
I can't believe we found something Remo does not know.
Hey, okay. I need to make a note. But speaking of the biggest deals in the history, which definitely this is the one. So we discussed last week the number 2, which is Zynga Take-Two. But we have 8 more in the top 10 gaming acquisition. So on the third place there is the Supercell Tencent deal. Then we have ZeniMax, Microsoft, and King Activision, obviously. Playtika to Giant-led Syndicate. Well, I was trying to find more information about the Syndicate.
I think that's the Chinese one, is it?
It's a gambling, it's a casino conglomerate. Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have 4 more. So there's Moonton to ByteDance, Asmodee to Embracer. That was very recent.
It's a board game company, man.
Yeah, board game company, very recent. Loved the DOF commentary on it. It was really, really interesting. And then what else? It's Mojang to Microsoft and Glue to EA. Okay, so that's top 10 gaming acquisitions.
Yeah, those are like all pretty much like famous games. If people don't ring a bell, ZeniMax is pretty much Bethesda with the Elder Scrolls thing, and Mojang is Minecraft.
Yeah, okay. Oh, true. But yeah,
Moonton,
these are like...
Moonton is the Mobile Legends Bang Bang, the League of Legends clone from China.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, when Glue was acquired by EA, everybody spoke about, wow, there's 2.4 billion, wow. And then since then, it's just
couldn't be end of the food chain.
Yeah, increasing every fucking year. Not the year, every fucking week now. Every fucking week. And again, like, this reminds me a football player market. I mean, when Cristiano Ronaldo was sold to Real Madrid for, I don't know, like 100 million euros or dollars. That was like a really big amount of money. But then I think Neymar was sold for 250 million. Now it's it's a very similar thing here in gaming.
Yeah, talk about inflation.
I'm just going to practice what I preach this time, and right after this call, I'm going to buy some EA stock.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Most probably. Yeah.
By the way, do we assume that this theory that we are going to end up like with 5 companies all around in the industry is going to happen now? Because if we assume that like Amazon buys EA, whoever's next buys Playrix, and like all these other juggernauts, that means what? Like we're the car industry stage?
It's kind of a normal cycle of an industry, right? Consolidation, and then innovation starts happening somewhere else. And when it's consolidated, innovation kind of stops.
But everybody is talking about consolidation for, like 5 years? I mean, obviously it's happening, but then what? Then Tencent buys someone else? Playrix?
I don't think so. Tencent will have so easy time buying someone else, because the regulations will definitely.
Oh yeah, okay.
So who buys Playrix? Like we were talking a bit about that, but who buys Playrix? This massive company that's just sitting there.
Maybe a Russian player you don't know about, like, could be something like Rosneft or whatever. It's like big Russian company that pretty much takes them under the wing and enters the gaming space.
Mm-hmm. Okay, could be.
Like I remember, if you remember the Talking Tom acquisition, it was a Chinese chemical company.
Yeah.
Like for 1 billion or something like that. It could still happen like that.
Could be. We'll see. But what's definitely happening now is Turkish industry or space is booming. Well, it's booming for some time with all the acquisitions there, with Ruby Games by Rovio and stuff like that. But now, what we saw was basically Dream Games, the game developer behind the hit game Royal Match, is announcing a Series C, 255 million, with a valuation of 2.75 billion. I mean, the news comes just 6 months after they raised 155 million at 1 billion valuation. So, wow. I mean, the game is performing really well. So I can see why is this happening. And this Series C is being led by the Index Ventures, with Makers Fund as well, IVP funds and accounts managed by BlackRock, Cora, and Balderton Capital also participating. So this is nice. And they also said that the funding will be used for both to continue the investing in and developing the Royal Match game, and to work on the next game launch, which is expected later this year. So I mean, they launched Royal Match last year, and since then it's just growing like crazy.
Guys, this is a complete party round. I love it. Like, how much does it cost to develop a new mobile game? And then you look at that and you see that pretty soon Google, Facebook, maybe TikTok will have 240 million. Like, most of that money is going to go into UA. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Of course, it's going to be there. But look, the Royal Match is super, super polished. I mean, that's a really, really good game. Really good game. And I was reading the interview with the CEO, I think, or the founder, and definitely really, really smart guy. And he knows that scaling of the game, well, it all depends on the actual LTV. So he said that their LTV is really high, so they can afford to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
keep in mind
this
is pretty much like the third time for these guys to launch a successful Blaster Match 3 game. Match 2 game.
Yeah.
Because they are the original creators of Toy Blast and Tool Blast, and pretty much the masters of click to blast genre.
Yeah, they have the knowledge. They
have the
know
data
what they're doing.
in their heads at least.
And they definitely know what they're doing.
Remo, from a design perspective, like, what do you think they've really nailed? Like, Can you point to one or two things where you're like,
level design. Like
Yeah?
these games are pretty much run on the level design, and you need to know how to optimize the funnel on the level design. And I even personally was once doing a match 3 game that like was an unforgettable experience. But
How did it go?
Yeah,
Can
I
you say?
just have to say, like, no, it failed, of course. I just have to say, like, these things are pretty much in the territory of, like, dark magic. Like, really, like, some things you learn, and I think this is also why are they so successful, that some things and some knowledge you only learn if you get to these really high numbers, that you have a game that's making like 15 to 20 million a month, that you know the run rates of UA, that you know the ROAS curves, that you know the difficulty curves, the funnels, the churns, and you pretty much A/B test all the important levels. So this is something that, you know, you don't learn on your usual free-to-play mobile gaming website every day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you need to work on these games. And you know, the other really good thing which happened last week in Turkey as well is, well, the Spike Games, which is another Istanbul Games startup, announced the 55 million seed round. I mean, I work with these guys and they are super talented. Both both companies were founded by the people who were, like you said, either founders or senior members of the team of Peak Games, so they know what they are doing. So basically, guys, congrats to Midha, Irina, and Remy. You're amazing. Keep it up. And this is just an amazing news for the Turkish industry scene, or the Turkish scene in gaming.
But it's really good, especially in the current context of like the volatility in Turkish currency. That's still like so big of investments are still pouring into Istanbul, even though people are like, I was speaking to some of my friends in Turkey, they are kind of worried a lot about like what's going to happen with the currency because the policy there isn't really sound, or at least let's say. But yeah, mobile games pretty much preserve. So that's like, you know, COVID proof and economy proof.
Well,
Love
of course.
it. Don't you guys get the feeling as well that like a major just similarity to Helsinki and the gaming scene in Finland, how that started blowing up because they had one successful, really big exit, and basically the people from that company went on to make their own companies, and then it just blows up like 6 years later. It's exactly Finland all over again. It's really cool to see.
Of course, and that's what happened. That's what's happening to Blizzard as well. That's what it's got. Come on, it's like, this is like Peak Games was acquired by Zynga, and now the senior guys left basically after all the earnouts and everything, and now starting their own companies. That's what you see.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference here is that like these kind of lottery tickets that all the people that left Peak and they started their own ones will come to fruition much sooner than people that are leaving Blizzard, because those are usually PC games or pretty much hardcore games, console games oriented, so those takes much longer to develop.
So if Pixel Federation gets sold for $1 billion, you know, this will be Bratislava in 4 years.
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't see that happening, but we definitely wish. We'll see what happens. In Slovakia. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So Twitter announced NFT profile pictures. So I think now, Remo, you can change your profile picture on Twitter, but you need to just create a profile on Twitter first,
and you need to have the Twitter Blue subscription. That's what that's true. But they announced already the crypto wallet support back in September, but now I think yesterday they rolled out these NFT avatars for members of the Twitter Blue subscription service. And it was all over the LinkedIn. Everybody was like, this is amazing. Hey, LinkedIn, do you see? You are next. You should definitely do this as well. So, again, a week without an NFT news wouldn't be a week. I guess everything is happening around us at the moment around blockchain NFTs. I was missing when this news kind of hit. I was missing the big numbers. Like, did anyone already sold some ludicrous number NFT avatar already, or just like we're getting into this?
But what would you like? Why would you want to sell whatever with NFT? This is just like you can use the NFT as an avatar, which I think you could do anyway.
But
because like
I can use your avatar if I screenshot your JPEG
yeah,
picture.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know that?
I know. Oh, but yeah, this is.
Yeah, but if you look at like CryptoPunks or the board apes guys, like those are again pictures, but valued at I don't know 300K for the big
course.
ones.
But this is completely unrelated to the Twitter picture.
Yeah, so
I think it's a cool step in the right direction.
It's cool.
I think it's a cool step in the direction nobody knows nothing about.
Yeah,
honestly, this is the first new thing I see Twitter do in about 5 or 7 years. So I'm all for it if they're going to start working on their platform and making it better.
Didn't the CEO leave or like was supposed to leave?
Dorsey, yeah, he left.
Yeah. Now you see what happens.
Yeah, but the Twitter is, the social media nobody was using for last, 3 years, I think, 5 years maybe. Now with the crypto shit happening, everybody's there. So I guess it's actually the social media platform for every NFT, blockchain games, Web3 discussions around.
Out of all the users that you get for different mobile games, like Matej, like how many of them come from Twitter? Do you ever use it for performance?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Well, okay, so I tried Twitter a couple of times, but without any success. And the only success I had was for apps, not games that much. And I know I've seen a lot of like Twitter ads examples, but I still don't see it as a good performing channel. That's for me. I mean, never had a good experience. Maybe someone else can actually say something else about Twitter, but not me. But well, on Twitter we can stay on Twitter actually because, for example, Serena Williams, she changed her profile picture on Twitter to some NFT. I don't know if it was a CryptoPunk or the board ape, and she had a GM post, obviously, which is an amazing post in the crypto space. And Serena Williams now joins So Rare as a board advisor, and she will provide the guidance to the board on a range of topics, including developing the So Rare's relationships with athletes around the world, advising them on strategies, how to expand into new sports categories, including women's sports, as well as future impacts initiative for making Web3 more inclusive and diverse. So, I mean, this was a really, well, let's say, interesting announcement.
This is the second biggest name with the crypto investments, Sorare.
Well, who's the first one?
Forte.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I think so.
The guy sitting right next to you.
Yeah, okay. Felix, he knows. He knows a bit more. But yeah, I mean, I will be definitely trying to see what happens with Serena and the new athletes, because so rare they have the football mainly, the card games, and I mean now with the tennis maybe and the other sports as well, opening up a pretty nice new target audience basically.
I mean, it's such a stamp of approval. It's a business slam dunk. Like same thing when BetterUp got Prince Harry as their chief impact officer. It's just like I've been in sales and stuff like that before. Like imagine this trump card you can always use if you ever have a call. You bring up this person, even bring him along. It's like it's just a home run for the company.
Sounds to me like the Terrano story, if you know that one. I think the movie will be coming soon.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jakub.
I think this sounds like Theranos, mate.
Oh no, just being skeptical a little bit as usual.
Of course, I wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah, but it's good promotion. Like, of course, like step into right direction. Like, just compare it with, let's say, Nordeus having,
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, as their main guy on the icon all the time, pretty much. So, yeah, it definitely paid off before. So I guess it will pay off even future.
We are talking about like expanding these blockchain games into the new audiences. This is one way. I mean, it's probably not gaming audience, but still it's sports audience, and
you have now access pretty much to Serena Twitter account and Instagram. Yeah,
exactly.
Her social networks, pretty much as she's pumping whatever these guys come up with.
GM guys. Yeah, there you go. I know.
I'm just a bit curious. So, like, in the last year, we've had, like, Kate Upton. She's done Machine Zone ads. Khloe Kardashian has done Coin Master. Arnold Schwarzenegger did that Mobile Strike Super Bowl ad.
Much more of those. Even Steven Seagal.
Exactly. I'm just wondering, like, do they work, Matej? Like,
well, define work. I mean, define work. For Coin Master, J-Lo, Terry Crews, Kardashians, they definitely worked. I mean, they racked up, 186 million downloads in, 7 months? Come on, man.
Is that like organic downloads, or is that like downloads from actual programmatic ads that they've actually paid for, and the click-through rate and the install rate is just higher? Or
well, it was. I think it was mainly the overall number. So I couldn't say if it's organic or UA, but you could clearly see as soon as they started doing this, the installs like went up from 2 million to 14 million a month. I think something around that. And they increased the revenue as well, like from 20-30 million a month to 70. And in 1 January, I think last year, it was actually 85 million a month. So I guess it definitely works. I mean,
the question is, what's your margin at the end?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Like, we don't know the margin. I mean, they started spending a lot. These deals definitely weren't cheap, but I guess it was worth it. Now they started with Spice Girls in December. Love it. Definitely love it. But with Machine Zone and the Mobile Strike and the Arnold Schwarzenegger, we know that as soon as they stopped marketing, the game basically died.
Yeah, like that's like a specific example of a game just being propped up by UA. But I think there was also like Ryan Reynolds one for Peak Games. That was kind of exotic one.
Yeah, and someone else.
Liam Neeson for Clash of Clans.
Jean-Claude Van Damme now for Warpath, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious. I mean, he's so old now.
So basically, like, you need to be one of these really mega big market cap companies to actually, for it to make sense. Do you think it's also a bit of founder vanity that basically they also want to say that blah, blah, famous actor is our spokesperson?
We got them. I can have nice pictures. What was it like?
No,
I think last
I don't think so. Actually,
I think I saw Raid Shadow Legends with Jeff Goldblum or something like that.
Yeah.
That was the last one. They even have like a small like how they were making it. I still think like it works in a way that the actor brings their own kind of social network into the play. That he proves the credibility with him. So why would he be doing that? But again, the question is, of course, the margin, because one thing is that you calculate the downloads on the UA with the ad, but you also need to take into account the actor's fee, which I think Kate Upton had like 40 mil just for that Game of War one.
Yeah, but then you have the multiplier for all the social media
Twitter
handles and everything, Instagram followers and whatever. So this is like if the J-Lo, for example, I don't know how many followers she has. But
because if you compare it, for instance,
millions.
Again, the recent one, the Supercell Squid Game one for Brawl Stars.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I don't think so. It did a dent to the revenue at all.
Yeah, in terms of revenue, not so much. In terms of downloads, definitely yes. I mean, they spiked pretty rapidly from, I think they were on the fifth position or rank 50, and then they climbed into like rank 3 or 4 immediately after the Squid Game video was launched. I mean, it was a very well made video.
Well, it was very expensive.
They paid a lot. They paid a lot.
3 mil or something like that just to make the video.
Of course, but you know how Supercell does the marketing.
Yeah, they have
completely different
specialty in brand marketing. It's a different kind.
Brand marketing, come on. Let's not go there. Let's not go there, please. Because brand marketing in games, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as brand marketing in games. It's completely bullshit. Come on. Ugh.
We hit a sore subject. Let's just move on.
Let's just move on.
I don't want to see Matej upset. I don't want to see him upset.
Yeah, I will just jump out of the window. Come on. Yeah, let's move on to the Google.
Okay, next news. Google launches beta for Android games on Windows PC. I think this is inevitable, as I think it's around 400 million users that BlueStacks emulator claims that they have. And there's like a slew of other emulators behind it in size. So I guess in the end, we are getting closer and closer to our cross-platform future, where it pretty much won't matter on which device you're playing what, and it will be pretty much native. And Google clearly wants to cut out of like all of these other people that's taking the basket, because the emulators they're good, but it's not as it's supposed to be, I think, out of the box. Still, it's kind of, you need to be a little bit tech savvy even to just enable the virtualization in your processor and stuff like that. It doesn't work out of the box. You get stuck a lot of times. So
also, not every game is available
supporting that.
Yeah,
so sometimes it's pretty much the flip of a coin if it works or not. So
I couldn't play any Supercell soft launch game because of this.
But it's another UA channel, of course.
It's another UA channel, but don't you think like the Google Play games, as they will be available on PC, that's going to be, again, a placement inside the Google Ads as well? I mean, it's the same thing. It's just going to be... They take the cut, not blue
set.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I would say. There's going to be another revenue stream for them as well.
Google being Google.
Oh, yeah, of course. How else?
Give me my
really interesting. Interesting, like how they're approaching the launch or the beta. So it's in Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan. So let's see. It's only 3 games: Mobile Legends, Summoner's War. 4. State of Survival and Three Kingdoms Tactics. I don't know
the interesting bit that this brings to the table that now there will be much less of a friction for people to use their keyboards to fight against their friends which don't have that luxury. This is especially seen in FPS genre. Like, really, if you play Fortnite on like a keyboard, it's much different than the typical mobile experience of Fortnite.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't talk about this last week, but NVIDIA announced bringing Fortnite on iOS, by the way, just as a cloud something, which was definitely interesting.
It's their streaming cloud streaming service, is it? And they just announced that Fortnite is going into it, which means that it's available, that the streaming service is available on iOS, which means that it kind of circumvents the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. NVIDIA playing a really high stakes here.
Love it.
Yeah, well, if you are fighting Apple, then you will find a way how to circumvent their rules if you want. Easy.
Okay, last one from the short ones. Roblox has put up a blog explaining their outage that happened in October. Pretty much a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but the baseline out of that is that it went out for 73 hours, which is pretty big. Considering that this is not a single game, this is pretty much the whole platform that have now companies building games solely for this platform, getting out for 3 days straight. More than 3 days, actually. So, yeah, pretty interesting news. I think Roblox stock is going down a lot from November peak, like pretty much 50%. Don't know what's happening there. But, yeah.
What do you mean you don't know what's happening there? Like all the scandals around...
the controversy. That's on top of that, of course.
So you pretty much know. You have been following these scandals, so don't worry. Yeah, we will definitely talk about this sometimes in the future. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's interesting development that all the metaverse stuff floating around and everything. But yeah, imagine your metaverse is now offline for 5 years and you're dependent on that.
But guys, like, bottom line is, like, Roblox is a publicly listed company. It shouldn't be out for 73 hours. And compare this to like the founders of Pirate Bay had a really funny post half a year ago. It wasn't about Roblox, it was about someone else, and basically it had an outage for about the same time, and they're like, we bought an oil platform in international waters to keep our servers live, and they kept it live for years and years and years. And basically the summary of this post was that people today are such sissies that and they don't really know how to like work really hard and actually keep stuff up.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, as the video said, like, Roblox was worth what, like 7 Ubisofts? Still do it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I would buy an oil platform just to keep my servers up.
Definitely afford an oil platform then.
Yeah. Okay, so that's I guess that's news. Every week there is something new happening, and it's really sometimes really funny, sometimes really big as a M&A of Activision and Blizzard. And now I would say it's time for UA and creative trends for this year. So it's not only about fun, but it's actually about us sharing some knowledge of what we saw maybe last year or what we see coming this year. Because I mentioned last week that I'm publishing some predictions with Upslayer. So only one went live, which was obviously about the Web3 and the blockchain games. So I'm not going to talk about this here, but I want to just mention a couple of things. So basically, main trend for the UA that I'm seeing right now is the UI UI. Come on, what the fuck? How UI? UA. Okay, so the main thing for the 2022 is the UA diversification. So having Facebook or Google or only one UA channel is pretty dangerous these days. And in the times when I could use Facebook and spend 1 million a month and say this is the only UA channel I'm using because it's working pretty well, those times are gone, basically. So the UA channel mix needs to be diversified this year. And obviously, my UA go-to channel still is and will be Facebook, even though the quality decreased heavily in the 2021, and it's still decreasing even this year. So if you remember the Q5, which is the fifth quarter, which is phrase invented by Facebook, and it's happening after Christmas, basically since 25th of December until 14th of January. When the e-commerce and brands stopped spending, and you see quite a decrease in terms of the CPMs on Facebook. So this year didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. The CPIs are still like really high. CPMs didn't decrease at all, maybe like 10% ish. So it's really, really tough and challenging on Facebook. So that's why I'm definitely pushing almost all the companies I work with to spend more on the different UA channels. Let's speak about like some of those. So I'm using definitely Google Ads, and I was definitely a couple of years ago speaking about Google Ads. Well, not really positively, let's say that way, but the platform definitely evolved, and the Google Ads right now it's the best performing channel out there, at least for me on most games.
But won't this won't this get worse when Google rolls their version of IDFA in?
Well, let's see. I mean, if and
are we expecting this to happen this year?
No, not really. And even if that happens, I mean, I can run pretty good performing campaigns on iOS even without IDFAs. I mean, okay. There will be ways. There will be always ways how to scale or grow UA in different ways. That's it, basically. And it's still on the Android 12. It's the LAT version, so limited ads tracking and not no IDFAs yet. So let's not jump ahead of time just yet. But we mentioned last week, I mentioned last week the biggest winner of the last year would be Unity in terms of the UA. So definitely running Unity as soon as you can, paired with the Google UAC or Google Ads, and maybe TikTok these days and Snapchat as well would be a pretty good start. And definitely diversifying your UA portfolio for 2022. That's the main topic, and that's something that I will be doing.
Can you talk a bit more about TikTok, Ags? I'm quite curious to learn. Like, we have 1 billion users now. Like,
they have 1 billion users.
How is it for mobile gaming?
Well, for now, it's definitely completely different than Facebook in terms of the creatives and in terms of the content that's out there on the platform. What I'm seeing at the moment is way lower CPIs than on Facebook, but that was the case for almost eternity. I mean, since TikTok was out there running ads, so it was always like this. But definitely the platform evolved. very close to Facebook because you can target a lot of interests and even lookalikes and then event optimization as well. So in this, like targeting possibilities is very similar, but the creative, it definitely needs to be very different. So using real people, shorter creatives, and what needs to be done there quite frequently is the creative refresh. So you need to rotate those creatives like on a weekly basis and like add 2, 3, 4 new creatives a week, which is a lot of overhead. So you need a lot of resources to run it profitably. But that's where we are at the moment. Definitely, I'm looking forward. So yeah. So that's it for the UA diversification on as something as a main trend, at least for me. Then I definitely see, and if I say definitely one more time, I will kill myself. So it's like Felix was saying basically like a million times when he was 5 times. Okay, speaking about the.
I even wrote myself a note, no fillers.
Oh, okay. Well,
didn't work.
Didn't work. Maybe next time.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next time. So okay. Back to the knowledge bombs. What I see this year happening in terms of creatives is the hyper-casual-led creatives, and everybody was talking about the personal-led creatives, which is a trend. I mean, that was a trend a couple of years ago, and now suddenly everybody was speaking about it because of the IDFAs. Oh yeah, sure, okay. Obviously, but for me, there is definitely definitely again. So I would be focusing on something else. So adapting a hyper-casual game concepts to your game creatives, which is really important. If you take a look at the rankings and around you and like in top US, you will see top 3, top 5 only hyper-casual games. And if you can take those concepps and adapt it to your game, that's gonna broaden up your audience way more than using, for example, personas or motivations, because that was here a long time ago. But if you remember, for example, the ASMR videos on the YouTube, I mean that video led to the game development of ASMR Slicing, the hyper-casual game by Tricky Tribe, my friends from Slovenia. And this ASMR game was a hit in the US, and I remember actually Coin Master started using this concept as well, like slicing their coins, and it was really popular. I mean, it was before the JLO creatives. But this is something that is also happening for Warpath. PlayerX is now going into this, and I was using this for Games Manage as well. I mean, for Battle Legion, Remo, we did this with Crowd City. So the mass battles is basically a hyper casual game. I mean, it's a Crowd City, but in the Battle Legion theme. That's it. I used Tangle Master for Idle Panzer. And ASMR Slicing for Cooking Voyage, which was like slicing a tomato, and that was working really well. It's really, really nice and easy concept. You can create for your game and decrease the CPIs quite heavily.
Like on my end, I'm seeing games actually implement the hyper casual ones into like short loop events. Like if you let's say take Township currently has like an event that's pretty much 1-to-1 helix jump in there.
Yeah. Like there you go.
FTUE.
Why not? I mean, we saw what was the name of the game? I'm not sure, but they had really fake creatives. They implemented it into the screenshots, but then actually even before the tutorial. So you saw the fake creative, then you saw it in the store as well, and then they implemented it before the tutorial. So you had to play the fake.
You mean the Hero Wars one?
And then you got which one?
Hero Wars.
Not the Hero Wars, but the other one. I can't remember the game. But
by the way, can you make a prediction about the fake ads? Is anything happening with them this year?
Now you can see the Royal Match, which is not using fake ads that much.
But it's fakish.
It's still
on the border.
It's fakish.
Fake.
Yeah, it's fakish. I mean, it's a combination of still you can see the match free there element, but combined with the fake situation. But it's not gameplay. It's a situation that the king is going into. He needs to go to toilet and obviously can't, and stuff like that. He almost freeze. So it's all the situation that's happening. But right now I see also Top War, the merge strategy game, leveraging these hyper-casual game concepts as well.
But at least Top War has the merging game in itself.
But they are not using the merge in the creative. That's the thing. They're using completely different concepts.
Mm.
But yeah, well, it's definitely a trend that I'm seeing.
I'm really curious how the whole Web3, whatever metaverse next best thing since Brett we'll do with the fake ads problem that users are pretty much, you need to bring them somehow through marketing, and here marketing is all about data, which is the best one wins. Doesn't matter if it's completely fake or the gameplay doesn't mean anything to the actual product.
Yeah. Well, gaming companies will do everything to decrease the CPIs. There you go. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I think the biggest trend for me in the last 6 months of the most ads I've blocked on the 20 games that I currently manage is always around violence against a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest trend, and I don't know, everyone complains about it, and I guess it's just about outrage. That's the main topic I see with a lot of these creatives. The more outrageous you get, the more downloads or the lower your CPI gets. No, and the more time I have to spend blocking ads.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you use these kind of creatives on Facebook, you will get a lot of comments and emojis and reactions. And as more comments or these type of things you get, the better quality score you will get in terms of the auction on Facebook. Even though it's a hate comment.
Yeah, that's the whole problem with the latest Facebook controversy. The algorithm is pretty much, giving support to polarizing content. That the more polarized you get, the better the engagement is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, violent ads with pregnant women. That's probably not the best practice. even though
the numbers show something different
and comments probably, but. Well, you will do everything you can to decrease the CPIs, but I wouldn't go as far as this. Hard to tell. Hard to tell where's the line. And one other thing that I think it's going to be really popular these days. Oh well, not only this, but podcasts are really popular. That's why we are here, of course, and that's why we started also, one Slovakian podcast as well. But so why I'm speaking about this? So have you heard any game-related ads in these podcasts or in games in general? I mean, I haven't, but one survey in 2020 revealed that mobile gamers would prefer actually audio ads over any other form of in-game advertising in mobile games. So these days we see only the traditional ads in the games, like banners. Well, banners.
You mean visual-based ones?
Visual-based ones, but not banners, but interstitials and videos and playables.
I'm sure people will say that, yes, we prefer audio ads over other form of advertising.
Yeah, but 60% of those have mute on their phone.
Yeah, I did a look over all the games that I'm currently doing, and it's 75% of people have volume muted. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it would be great, you get the ad, you don't even need to listen to it, and then you get the in-game reward. So I guess that's the answer to the survey.
I think it's slightly different than that. But audio ads can be played while you play the game and don't interrupt your gaming experience. So I mean, it's mainly now focused on hyper-casual games. Let's see how it evolves over time. We see already a rise of companies focusing on this topic. everything looks good on the paper, as you said. Like 75% of players mute on their games, but I think this year we can actually see a pretty big growth in this space. There's Audio Mob and Audio as a companies in this space. Let's watch it closely.
I mean, I've spoken to both of them, and I left both meetings feeling like, yeah, I want to try this. However, I also felt like the main differentiator you need to do to be successful with this, which is why Hypercasual is doing it now, is you need to design it around the audio ads, just like you design it around rewarded ads. And I think the real thing to watch, like when it's fully adopted, is like whenever there's a mediation for audio ads, that's when you know it's become a thing.
Okay.
Isn't there like the really big problem with friction? Like how do you actually get the funnel there? So you listen to the ad, and then you need to yourself remember and willingly go to the store and download the app.
No, it's not like that. So that there was different formats. I believe both companies had 2 or 3 different formats. And I think the one that made the most sense that I thought was coolest was like audio ad that plays. And then at the top or in some point in the corner, there's still a little tiny like banner ad.
You get the link, yeah?
Yeah, I could get the link. So McDonald's is a little tiny logo, and it was like X times X centimeters. Yeah. That was small, and then you click on that for like the conversion.
Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah,
let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to try it, and definitely think it could be a thing. But let's see if people turn on their. You need to give someone like users the incentive to turn on the volume. So yeah, perfect to give in-game currency or whatever. So. Makes sense in theory. I would love to see it in practice.
It's on paper. Exactly. Looks really cool.
So much stuff makes sense on paper.
Mr. Skeptic.
Yeah.
Of course. Well,
wait. Yeah, before that, Remo. So, from a game design's perspective, why do you think this doesn't sound good in practice?
Because guys always think about players maximizing their revenue, which is the fun. Like how they can cheese through this. Like how do you build the rules to stop the cheesing? Pretty much. Like it's always even normal in-game ads has to do stuff around it. You're pretty much giving away part of your economy. So you need to set up timers. You need to set up stuff that these systems aren't abused. And like that's number one thing. And also this goes directly into eCPM. If everybody is just watching the ads, never clicking, like you get shitty eCPM. That's normal. So how do you deal with these issues with audio ads? And these kind of questions just started popping in my head, and if I don't see immediately like really clear solutions, of course they can be done, but I'm the skeptic one as usual.
But you never see this you never saw this in practice. I mean, you never saw any numbers connected to the audio ads.
You don't need to see the numbers, you just need to see the use case and like tell me how do you design it in a way that you, on first point, you force the user to listen to the actual ad, and then he even knows where give him the reward and he clicks there.
No, I have a game that they sent me as like the trial game. They say it's perfectly implemented. I'm going to send you that link and you're going to play it for next week.
Sure.
Yeah,
we can
discuss that.
Yeah.
We can discuss that later on. Amazing. On that note, I guess that's it for this week. Thank you very much, guys, for the session number 2. And guys, please share feedback, subscribe, rate, give us a review. We definitely appreciate it. And see you next week. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
See you.